Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Filecoin. Before we jump into the price action, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description below you'll find a link to Discord. Check it out. It is free to join. Okay, so let's get into some macro stuff before we jump into the shorter term moves here. So we don't have a lot of price history here, just been ranging for the most part. We haven't actually managed to break this low so far, so that is a good sign. But the problem that I have with this move is it does look like it has a five-wave structure to the downside, and it doesn't have a very neat completion into this either. The structure is not great within here, so it is making me rather look at this potentially as a three-wave structure, which means that we would basically be looking to actually see whether this move here actually rejects and we set a new low here. That's what we're looking for within that. So what we'd be looking for is I'm looking at the count in two ways. So the two ways are basically that we could see something like this, where we have this as an A wave to the downside. This whole move to the upside is just considered as a B wave. Looking at this basically as a double zigzag here to the upside as a B wave, and then potentially looking for this five-wave move to the downside here. So what we'd be looking at within this structure here is the fact that we could argue, that within this we could have a diagonal completed, but like I said to you, the structure within this isn't great. It looks rather like a corrective move to the downside. So that would either mean that this is a B wave and we're looking to push up in a C, or alternatively, we would have to look at this in a different way, which we'll go over in a second, where this is just actually a corrective pattern and we subdivide in the middle here with an X wave, which would mean that we have a low set at this point. So really, for as long as we hold this low point, um, we could potentially look for that continuation to the upside, but we'd have to be careful of this high here. Really, until we actually break above this 1140 zone, we can still have some potential to the downside. And what I'd be looking out for is the fact we could still see something like this. And what we'd be looking for within this is the potential to actually still play out as a diagonal, where this becomes a wave one, two, three, four, and a five, something like this, and it gets quite choppy. It doesn't have to be as steep as this. It might be more of a sideways move like this, and we get something similar to this playing out, where we get a contracting sideways shape, and it doesn't actually move down as much as I've got it pushed onto there. But effectively, the idea is that would imply that for as long as we form just three-wave structure to the upside like this, we wouldn't have a trend move. So basically, as long as we just form a three-wave move and we actually fail to break this high here, we could actually look to potentially come back down and look for that continuation. Where, like I said, we have a one, two, three, four, and a five, something like this. And we could grind down towards this low point again. Potentially, we could cross that even if we're looking at this as a corrective structure, but really, once we start to break below this, it starts to make this shape very unlikely that it's going to recover to the upside. So we need to just be careful of that. Like I said, as long as we hold that as long as we hold the low, we can potentially argue there is some bullishness within this, and we can say that we potentially completed in here. The other way that I'm looking at this move, and this would be sort of the more bullish way of looking at it, and what they would be looking at is the potential that we could have had this actually as an A wave to the upside rather, and this was a completion from here. And then what we'd be looking for effectively would be the potential that this A wave is completed into this high, and then we subdivide this slightly different. So instead of counting this as a one, two, three, four, and a five into this, we subdivide this in the middle with a five-wave move here. So A, B, C, X wave in the middle, and another A, B, C move to the downside. So technically speaking, we could argue this is still a five-wave structure here. Alternatively, we can subdivide it in the middle. And basically, what we'd be looking for then would be the fact that we have like a double zigzag, something like this. So we can look at it this way as well. It doesn't make it neater as a five wave, but if we actually hold this low and we start to push away, either we have to say we have had a diagonal in here, but it doesn't really fit the count, the internal count, Or alternatively, like I said, we just got this as so a W, X, and a Y to the downside, where this is just a three-way move, which is fine and can complete there. So if we were looking at that bullish count, what we'd be looking for then is the potential to actually push back to the upside. So the 1-to-1 would actually be just above this A wave because we've come down so low. And what we'd be looking for is effectively five-wave structure to start developing here. So what we'd want to see is nice, clean five-wave structure, whether that's something like this to start off with, and then we break down for wave two, and then we look for a 3, 4, and a 5 to the upside like this. That would be sort of the ideal structure. The Looking at the current move though, like I said, we only have a three-wave move here. We could potentially argue this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then we'd still want to have to see that support hold on the return. So I'm going to go over that bullish potential here, but we just need to be aware that when these coins come down this low, we need to be very careful because sometimes these can just form another corrective structure up and then actually they break this low. And then from there, I mean, we don't have all the information here, but effectively, it becomes less likely that it's trending. For as long as the low holds at this $2.2860, we can argue that we do have that potential for bullishness within the structure. So we're going to go over that now. So if we wanted to be talking about some potential bullish moves out of this, we'd have two options. So like I said, we'd either have to count this as some kind of a diagonal here, maybe 1, 2, 3, 5. No, it wouldn't really fit. We'd have to just count it as 1, 2, 1, 2, up 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5. So yeah, I mean, wave one would potentially complete into this high point here. And then what we'd be looking at is the potential that we have another wave two. We have a wave two here as a shallow wave two. And then actually looking for the potential to count this as a 1, 2, 3 up into this high, looking for a fourth and a fifth wave to the upside. So if we do come down into smaller time frames and go over this, effectively what we'd need to do is actually hold this 724 to the 668 area. If we hold this zone, then we can have this rally to the upside. And that zone we'd be looking to target would actually be this 1117 to this 1010 area. Well, if we do actually get a push up here, effectively what I'd want to see is nice clean five-wave structure here to the upside, looking for this fifth wave. And then from there, we'd want to see a nice clean three-wave retracement down into this wave two zone. If we did get a structure play out like this, and we do actually get this additional push up here, this wave two zone is the area that we would be looking for that support to come in. Failing to hold this $5.35 would then lead us to believe that well, we'd have to then treat this as just potentially a three-wave move up, or like I said, we could argue that potentially in here there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But like I said, I don't really like the beginning of this move, so we'll just have to monitor it. If we do start to break down from this point at the top here, what we would be looking for as a lower support range. So this is without pushing up to this fifth wave. So if we do actually lose this $4.59, it actually becomes less likely that this structure is going to continue. But really, the support zone we could be looking for is here within this 618. So this 50% actually would be this 484. So that would actually maintain this red line area of this 459. And if we actually come down deeper, this 413 sort of to this 330 would be the deepest we would want to come. We wouldn't really want to come deeper than this 786, and then that could actually give us the potential to form a bigger structure here where this becomes a wave one, we come down for a two, then we start to form bigger five-wave structure to the upside, and then look to actually push up much higher. But for the time being, we don't have that structure, and the way we can look at this though with the current structure we have is that, like I said, we could be looking for this additional fifth wave here, this push to the upside and finding rejection within this zone. So the interesting thing about this is this would actually potentially even be able to retest this peak here of this 1138. Though really, this whole zone here lower down, which we've actually got rejected off this high already, is a 949. So any kind of a move above here could potentially lead to another rejection. And if we do get rejected off this, we could look for that retracement to the downside. So the whole idea about this would be looking for that potential of forming a 1-2, then we form another 1-2 here. So if we do find support in that 659 to that 535 zone, then we could start talking about these bigger moves. The the zone would be this 23.44. We'd want to move up to off that 618 retracement down here. So, this is an area we could actually look to push up into and then get these additional legs within the structure if it does start to extend up here. So it's going to be quite a key zone. The most immediate key zone, if we're looking for that bullish potential, is holding this 724 to the 668. And then ultimately, if we do lose this zone, we'd want to hold this 659 to this 535. So I have also marked this purple line here as danger zone because this is basically the zone where if we do start to break down below this area, we'd have to be very careful because then we could start to argue that we could potentially have this as a 1-2, this is a 1-2, and then we start to break down deeper. So this danger zone marked here is effectively the 1.618 of this move to the downside. So, we'd have to be careful at that point. Looking at the structure, we'd have to say it would have another 1-2 there and then that breakdown. But effectively, once we start to cross this, we'd have to be a little bit cautious of this move and see actually whether we do start to form additional fourths and fifths here and then actually look to push down low. If we do get a bigger five-wave move to the downside here, and we'd have to then start looking for that potential of having this as an A. We come back up for a B, and then we look to push back down for a deeper C wave here. And then that could actually look to bring us back into some of these zones that we could look to retest in this lower area, potentially some of these support zones here, this previous high point here. There's a couple of areas of interest within this zone, but once we start to get some structure here, if it does break down, we'll be able to sort of pinpoint that a little bit better. But like I said, we've also got to be careful because at the moment all we have is three-wave structure here. We can argue there's a five-wave move here and then potentially another five-wave move here. But really, if this $4.59 fails to hold, then it would really put a damper on the count here. And we'd have to potentially try force that as a fourth wave in here, but I don't really like it. So yeah, but really until we actually break this 248, we do have that potential for actually having some more bullish potential to the upside here, where we could still see this play out as an a B, and a C, or alternatively a 1-2, and then look for that push to the upside for wave 3. Okay, I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Once in the general chat area, just add mention member staff to it, and we'll help you out with anything you may need. Also in the description, you'll find affiliate links for BYBIT and PrimeXBT, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. Check them out if you don't have an account with them. Using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.